7 o'clock. I'd like to call the Committee of the Whole for Monday, November 26, 2018. I'm Alderman Richard Marks, along with Alderman Clements. We are both aldermen of the 2nd Ward. It looks like a short agenda tonight, but we'll go through it. So we've called it to order. All of the aldermen are present. First order of business is approve the Committee of the Whole minutes from November 12, 2018. Alderman Clements, Alderman Swanson seconded. Any comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Item 3, items of business. The first item of business is recommending suspending the rules to permit Alderman Marks to be the chairman for this meeting and to vote on all action items on this agenda.
So moved.
Alderman Bruno makes the motion. Second by Alderman Clements. Any comments? Anybody opposed? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Now we get down to the business. Recommend draft ordinance amending Title IV Business and License Regulations, Chapter 2 Liquor Control, Section 4-2-13, license fees and number by adding 1 Class A2 liquor license, food, store package liquor for Fresh Time Farmers Market at 2000 South Randall Road. And do I have a motion? Motion by Alderman Maladra and second by Alderman Kilburg, was it? Makes the second. And I believe we have. Oh, yes, we'll go to you first. Thank you.
Again, I believe you stated most of it here, but I'll just reiterate. The item before you here would add add 1 Class A2 liquor license, and this would be for the Fresh Time Farmers Market to be located at 2000 South Randall Road. And I do believe we have representatives of that establishment here with us tonight, as well as staff, if there would be any questions about this.
Did you want to come forward? Is it your last name Gibb? Guide. Okay, Rich Guide. Welcome. Yep, right up to the podium.
Hello.
Anybody have any questions? Alderman Bruno.
I'm just curious. I'm glad you're here. Anytime that a new merchant gets in front of the council, we like to give them a chance to talk to the billions of people that are watching this tonight. So can you tell us about your expected open date and what your
Fresh Time's been around. This will be its 5th year. Owned by Meyer. I'm going to be the store manager there. I currently am a store manager for Fresh Time in Mount Prospect, right on Rand Road, and I will be moving to the Geneva location. We're going to be doing a job fair, I believe the 2nd and 3rd week of December. Department managers, clerks, and are planning to open, I believe, the 2nd or 3rd week of January.
great? And your what's Fresh Time's market niche?
Fresh Time stakes its business on fresh produce. Probably 40% of our sales are produce, and it's the same produce supplied by one supplier across the entire United States. Fresh Time currently, I believe, has 84 stores in all different states.
Great, thank you.
It stakes its business on fresh produce, also has a very large natural living section, larger than any Mariano's, and I know that for a fact because I got a brother that works for Mariano's, and Whole Foods. So I believe it's 6 complete aisles of natural living, which is vitamin supplements, body care, and general merchandise items that are all natural.
Great, thanks.
Alderman Radecki, I believe you had.
You have a brother that works at Mariano's and you work there? I want to go to
do.
one of the parties at your house someday.
I do.
How many people do you plan on employing? How many do you think you'll employ in the business?
Roughly a location that's brand new and opens will have anywhere between 90 and 110 employees.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So we can look for you about the 3rd week of January, hopefully?
Yes.
Yeah. It would be nice to make it before the holidays.
Yeah, every year Fresh Time runs first of the year. Being a natural food store, everybody's on a health kick after the first of the year. So they do a 33% off vitamin sale, and it generates quite a bit of traffic.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, well, welcome.
Alderman Clements.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm really excited to have you guys opening up. I live in a neighborhood right around your store, so a lot of people are very excited about it. I'm just curious, do you also have things like hot meals prepared, prepared dinners,
We do.
things like that for
We
people?
do. They have a full meat counter, which is usually about 44 feet, which is standard in the business. Service meat and seafood case, deli, bakery, and a hot food section. In a new location, I would imagine, because I have one in Mount Prospect, there'll be a sushi chef that prepares fresh sushi every day.
Oh.
Because sushi has a 1-day code, so you can't get a fresher product.
Great.
And the reason for the liquor license, I didn't even know some of these products existed, but gluten-free beers available out on the market, as well as a more natural kick to the liquor business, might I say.
Okay. Well, I'm really excited about it, so thank
A
you.
lot of organic
Welcome.
beers and wines too, so.
Anyone else? Well, thank you. Yeah, I know. I live out in that area too, and there are a lot of people asking when that's going to open. So it's nice to know that it's the second or third week. Any more questions? Hearing none, seeing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Passes unanimously. It will be on next week's agenda for the city council.
Okay.
Good luck. Thank
We'll
you.
see you guys next
Welcome,
week.
welcome to the city.
Thank you.
Item 3C, recommend certificate of completion for Lincoln Square subdivision. Assistant City Administrator, you've got a little background on this?
Yes, absolutely. As you may be aware, there were a few questions about this today, which were posted to the city's website. What I would do, though, is say that items C and D are commingled items here, both relating to the issuance of a certificate of completion and the acceptance of public improvements in the Lincoln Square subdivision. The items here before you will complete that process, but also reduce the bond amount from a number of $337,400 and $500,000 to $77,668,000. And for that item tonight, if there are any questions, we do have Director of Public Works Rich Babica here.
But I'm going to need a motion first to kind of jump the gun in a second. Motion by Alderman Bruno. Second by Alderman Swanson. Does anyone have any questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Now we have item 3D, recommend certificate of acceptance for Lincoln Square subdivision. I need a motion, please. Motion by Alderman Clements. Second by Alderman Ruby. You covered this last one, okay. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None opposed, passed unanimously. Item 3E, recommend draft resolution authorizing amendments to the Personnel Policy Manual to comply with Public Act 100-10-66. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman McGowan. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Bruno. Assistant City Administrator will give us a little background on this.
Yes, item is administrative in nature. As you may recall, City Council reviewed and approved changes to the Personnel Policy Manual nearly a year ago on this subject, and due to a legislative change, we are required to update our policy to make sure we reflect the extended time now from 180 to 300 days for an individual to file a complaint with the Illinois Department of Human Rights. So this will ensure that our policies match legislative requirements.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passed unanimously. We're at the new business of public comment. I don't think there's anyone out in the audience that has any public comment or new business. Anyone from the dais? Alderman Ruby.
I'd like to acknowledge and I guess congratulate Stockholms for raising money. They started last August charging 25 cents for every glass of water, and they just presented a check for $946 to the Conservation Foundation from charging for water. I think that's an awesome example, and I just hope maybe others will follow suit. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Bruno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a shout out to Public Works. We had a pretty brutal Sunday, and I know a lot of staff is pretty fatigued, and just wanted to give thanks to all the hard work to get us back up and running.
Alderman Radecki.
Okay, you say something nice about Public Works now. I've got to go to the dark side. So, Rich, you know what's coming. First of all, thank you again, too. This is a tough day, and it's not a, I don't want to pile on you, but piles of leaves are what's on my mind right now. And I know we've been going back and forth a little bit. Maybe you could bring us up to date with what's going to occur from this point forward. I mean, in our ward, the zone that we're in, we only had one pickup. Our second pickup was scheduled to be the 14th of November. Today's the 26th. We haven't seen it. This was supposed to be the third pickup today. So, you know, I know that I don't want to be put in charge of this program ever, because I know that the leaves drop at funny times, but it sounded like, you know, usually it's a late drop that gets us in a bind and then snow comes. This year, Nate said it was an early drop and they couldn't keep up with it. And I guess I'd like to hear, you know, do you think that the vendor has performed amicably and to the terms of the contract? Because right now we're in kind of a mess right now. My guess is these leaves are going to be here until the spring, perhaps, and it causes a lot of problems, you know. So, any comments?
Rich, do you have any comments? Slow walk.
I mean, the very short answer is that we had almost a complete leaf drop within the first cycle of collection. What should have taken 3 days to complete cycle C took 9 days, including a Saturday to get caught up, which caused irreparable harm to the schedule. On the 16th, we revised the collection schedule dates. That was pushed out through our social media as well as the city's webpage and the newsletter. The contractor had the option of working the day after Thanksgiving and the Saturday after. However, by our contract, we discourage working on city holidays because city staff is not available to answer or resolve any issues that may develop between the contractor and the residents, so they chose not to work that day. Nobody was expecting 8 inches of freezing rain, slush, snow, heart attack stuff. Basically what's going on right now is that leaf collection has been suspended for today and tomorrow. That's also been pushed out through our web presence. We are meeting with the contractor on Wednesday, and we'll have more information following that meeting.
Alderman Burkhart.
Related, so Rich, I had a resident say, why didn't the contractor work weekends to catch up? So you said they did work one Saturday? And that's part of our contract, or was that gonna be an extra?
No, that was a freebie by the contractor.
Okay. All right, thanks, I'm getting a lot of emails about this too, so thank you.
Alderman Kilburg.
I'd asked Public Works about this on the 18th because they already were forecasting this storm a week ago, Monday.
No, I would disagree with that. They were forecasting 1 to 3 inches of snow, which turned into a blizzard.
Which was still problematic as it relates to leaf collection, right? So, I guess if in fact we have a change as it relates to seasonality and the fact that we had a major leaf drop, why doesn't the contractor deploy more resources to the project then? In other words, instead of, you're saying there were 4 units out around Geneva, why don't they add an additional unit or 2 so that they can keep pace with the leaf drop? In other words, you know, when you have a challenge, you have to deploy more resources to get the job accomplished. And the thing is, you know, we run into the end of the season, and what was it, 2 years ago or 3 years ago that we had this same problem?
It was 2 years ago that the city council elected to have the 4th collection over the objection of staff, and then it snowed, and we wound up having to come back in the spring.
Right. Now, does the contractor agree to come back in the spring and pick up those leaves then, if in fact they can't? In other words, if we have a hard freeze now, and if these leaves are where they're at right now until, as Alderman Radecki pointed out, April or May, according to our contract then, is our contractor, is Kramer obligated to come back and clean up Geneva?
I would respectfully decline to answer that question at this time until the meeting on Wednesday. I don't want to speak for the contractor.
Okay, and the other question I have is if in fact they can't complete a second pickup, in other words, are they going to rebate back to the city then? Or is the city not going to compensate them for the contract for the terms that we agreed to? because we paid them for a fourth pickup 2 years ago. And if they can't complete 3 rounds of pickup, then I think they owe the city money.
At that point, I don't think, that
No, I'm just
discussing
saying, though.
policy and contract negotiations.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying, though, I think that's a concern as it relates to me as an alderman. And if you're going to be meeting with the contractor, I think that's a question that I would hope that you would raise. Is that a legitimate question?
That's a fair question. That is to pass along to him. I just don't want to get into a negotiations and contract in the public. So that's okay. Anything else, Alderman?
And the other thing is, I mean, when I saw Kramer on the east side of Geneva, I didn't see any great sense of urgency, because I saw him at McDonald's.
I think at that point, I don't think we should get into that.
But I'm just saying, though, I guess that would be a concern that I have.
Alderman Bruno, did you have a comment or question?
Just for what it's worth, I know this is, there's a lot of things not in our control and not within the contractor's control, but we do have on the website the free leaf bag pickup during December. So any leaves that, well, I recognize that, but if there is a thaw, that is still out there. Thanks.
Alderman Kilberg, I'm sorry, I probably cut you off. You still have the floor. Go ahead.
On a more positive note, I would like to thank Public Works for the response and the fact that they did, I think, an outstanding job as it relates to a very difficult snow. I've been here over 30 years, and I can't remember probably a more difficult snow probably for Public Works to handle than the one that we've had here. I know we had 21 or 22 inches several years ago, but I think that just the wet nature of this storm and the fact that we had a lot of trees that were compromised, and I know that they were cruising the streets and looking for hazardous limbs. I think they did a great job. So thank you.
Alderman Burghardt.
Kind of related to that, with the heavy snow, obviously tons of branches down. Obviously, you're dealing with power outages too. I got a note late in the day from a resident. What should they do with all their limbs that are broken off of trees? Is that something to hold on to till spring? Or
Our primary focus today has really been getting the streets cleared and getting the power restored to the
Sure.
5,000
And that's why I didn't even
customers.
send the message. But since you're up here on the hot seat,
So we, yeah. What you paid me for. Starting tomorrow, we're going to start doing an assessment of actually how much damage we had and what we need to deal with and what the scope of the problem is. Before we're going to commit to any program, we need to define what the problem is first.
sounds good. All right, thank you. I'll watch for info.
Alderman Radecki.
Yeah, I don't know if this is germane to new business or not, but all this discussion kind of, we just met in November about our priorities and where we're going to focus money in the budget. And, we represent the people in our wards, and what our people really want is safety. They want their electricity on. They want safe water. They want their snow removed. They want their trash picked up. And they want their leaves vacuumed up. Kind of in that order. But, I mean, when we look at prioritizing, what we spend money on, I think that's really, and then they want to be left alone. They don't want us to mess with their business at all. So, I guess just for future thought, sometimes I think, the delivery of public utility and service is just so paramount with what residents expect, and they expect a lot out of you guys. And for the vast majority of it, you guys do a great job with it. So, thank you.
Anyone else? I know that I had found out earlier in the meeting, and we'd like to thank and a good shout out to the city of Roselle, who actually Rochelle that sent a crew here, electric crew here, to help us with some of our down outages. And I think we're pretty much all taken care of at this point. Close to it.
The last customer should be coming on sometime soon.
Okay, so we're down to the last customer, and that's nice that the city did send out a crew to help us with that. So, nice thank you to them. Any other new business for tonight? And Rich, you did do a great job. I know it's hard to keep the streets clear. It's been a long day for your crew, and I think that staff deserves a lot of thanks from the citizens, because you've done your best and you've kept it pretty well going in the city. So I think as a council, we're all pretty well thankful for all the work that they do.
I will pass on everything to the staff tomorrow.
Thank you.
If they're awake and are listening, I may have to repeat it 2 or 3 or 4 times to some of them. But I will make sure that they hear the goodness from the city council.
Any other new business? Hearing none, seeing none, I need a motion for adjournment. Alderman McGowan makes the motion, second. Alderman Clemmons, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Microphones are off.